Amid the noisy clamor of a drinking bar, where all kinds of sounds overlapped, a hoarse male voice suddenly rang out, as if trying to drown out everything else. "Hey you, what are you looking at?" "Want to die?" T growled, his eyes wide and bloodshot. Rage surged through him. He grabbed an empty beer bottle from the table and aggressively charged toward the neighboring table. Clenching his teeth, he swung his arm and struck a young man on the head before the latter even understood what was happening. The young man screamed, clutching his head as fresh blood streamed through his fingers. "Why did you hit me? Who told you to look at me? I just happened to glance over. Even that's not allowed." Got it? The atmosphere became extremely tense. Customers at nearby tables abandoned their drinks, quickly paid, and left to avoid trouble. The owner didn't dare say a word. Scenes like this were common whenever T showed up. People often called him Crazy T, the son of Mr. NDK, living in LH District, LD Province. He was notorious in the area as a violent thug who picked fights for no reason. In T's motorbike trunk, there was always a long sword and various weapons to serve his reckless aggression. Bar owners turned pale whenever he appeared, and customers would quietly leave for another place, fearing his uncontrollable temper. Mr. K was a devoted Buddhist who practiced Pure Land teachings, ate vegetarian food, and diligently chanted the Buddha's name. Yet he had a rebellious, wayward son beyond anyone's control, which caused him deep sorrow. T often left home for months at a time, and even when he returned to LH, he wouldn't bother visiting his parents. Fighting and drinking were his only pleasures. Whenever Mr. K heard that his son had caused trouble again, he would be overwhelmed with grief. Only during quiet meditation and chanting could he ease the heavy sadness in his heart. T had caused far too much harm. Mr. K knew that his son's actions would inevitably bring painful consequences, if not in this life, then in the next. Unable to bear it, the aging father resolved to do something to pull his son away from this path of wrongdoing. Having a karmic connection with QA Hermitage in DT District, LD Province, Mr. K often went there on weekends to practice with the community. He bravely shared his son's situation with the abbot, Venerable TGN, and received guidance on how to help. With a father's love, Mr. K did not mind hardship or exhaustion and was determined to use Buddhist teachings to guide his son. Following the monk's instructions, Mr. K returned home and began bowing to the Buddha, chanting sutras, and dedicating all the merit to T. Each morning he recited half of the Infinite Life Sutra, and in the afternoon he finished the rest. Throughout the day, he constantly recited the Buddha's name. All the merit he accumulated, he dedicated entirely to his son. He persisted day after day, firmly believing that the Dharma would eventually help T turn toward goodness. Yet 2 months passed with no visible change. Mr. K grew discouraged and somewhat disappointed, so he returned to ask Venerable TGN. The monk offered no new method, only encouragement to remain patient. It's easier to move mountains than to change a person's nature. Changing yourself is already difficult. Changing someone else is even harder. You can't give up after just 2 months. The master is right. I can't quit so easily. For T, no matter how long it takes, I must continue, Mr. K told himself. A month later, T suddenly returned home. It had been a long time since he had seen his father. Usually cold and emotionless, he rarely felt anything. But this time, he couldn't help feeling moved when he saw the clear signs of aging on his father, the wrinkles around his eyes, the frail body that was no longer strong as before, and the inevitable reality that one day he would pass away. Looking at his father, T said, "Dad, just focus on your practice so your mind can be at peace. Maybe if there's a next life, it'll be easier because of it." "If you can say that, then you should practice too, Mr. K replied gently. In truth, T didn't fully mean what he said. He was simply touched by his father's old age and didn't really understand spiritual practice. Yet it felt as though something was guiding his thoughts. One day, lying down with his arm over his forehead, he quietly reflected on his life. "I'm almost 40 now. Soon I'll be old like my dad, and one day I'll have to leave this world. Where will I go then?" The question lingered in his mind, but he had no answer. One weekend, on a sudden impulse, T offered to drive his parents to QA Hermitage. As soon as he entered the abbot's room and saw the venerable monk, he suddenly trembled. Goosebumps rose, his hair stood on end, and his whole body felt cold. Strange. I've never been afraid of anyone. Why do I feel this way around a monk? He wondered. After returning home, That strange feeling stirred many thoughts within him. Thoughts he had never considered before. Were all the things I've done right? What if I try to change? Why don't I do what those temple goers do? Eat vegetarian food, chant the Buddha's name. Without his father saying anything, the following Sunday T called. Are you going to the temple this Sunday? I'll take you. Mr. K was astonished. He began to sense a change in his son and quietly rejoiced, hoping that his months of dedicated practice and merit dedication were finally bearing fruit. This time, instead of just being a driver, T sat with the community and chanted. After a while, he felt a rare sense of peace, something he had never experienced before. Seeing this transformation, Mr. K placed a hand on his son's shoulder and gently said, "Turn back, my son. Turn back while there's still time." Those words struck deeply, awakening the goodness long buried within T. He began to realize that he had been wrong all along. Gradually, as he learned Buddhist teachings, he found answers to his questions. Death was not the end. Beings had been wandering in suffering through countless lifetimes in the cycle of rebirth. He understood that if he didn't change, he would inevitably fall into painful realms in the future. One day, his drinking friends, though aware of his change, still invited him. "Hey, even if you practice, you still need friends. Come join us, we've got drinks and good food. I'm vegetarian now, I only go to the temple. Leave him alone. If you go there, no one will dare come to the temple. A sober person sitting with drunk people, it doesn't work. I'm not going." At first, no one believed T could change so drastically. But his determination proved that crazy T was no longer crazy, he had truly awakened. From then on, T diligently practiced, chanting, bowing, and learning to control his temper. Whenever anger arose, he focused on reciting the Buddha's name to calm himself. Over time, his personality softened, and his anger gradually faded. Step by step, Crazy T transformed into a new person. The traces of his former violent life slowly disappeared. He took refuge in the Three Jewels, received the Dharma name Daqh, embraced Pure Land practice, became a lifelong vegetarian, and devoted himself to seeking rebirth in the Pure Land. His transformation filled Mr. K with overwhelming joy. Whenever he spoke of this miracle, Mr. K would be moved to tears, partly from happiness, partly from deep gratitude to the Dharma for saving his son, guiding him onto a righteous path, and bringing peace to their family. His perseverance had truly paid off. Cause and effect are precise and unfailing. However, due to differences in past karma and individual effort, the time between cause and result can vary, sometimes quick, sometimes long. Therefore, dedicating merit requires patience. If you give up simply because you don't see immediate results, you will never see any at all. What if Mr. K had quit after 2 months? His son might have remained unchanged, he might have lost faith in the Dharma, and we would not have such an inspiring example to learn from. The real-life story of Mr. K and his son is a reminder to practitioners about perseverance and endurance, essential qualities for reaching the ultimate goal on the spiritual path.